Today we're going to talk a little bit about the reason behind sauerkraut, and then we're going to learn how to prepare some sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is based on this simple, amazing fact. If we take some vegetable, like cabbage, and in particular chopped cabbage, and we submerge it in salty water, also known as brine, over a few weeks what will happen is the good bacteria will grow and make it turn sour and taste really cool, but the salty water will prevent all the bad bacteria from growing and either causing the cabbage to rot or to have mold grow on it. The materials include several big bowls, a bunch of cabbage, and we'll start with heads and then we'll chop it, cutting board and knife, a scale so that we can weigh out the cabbage and then the salt. Best is to use what's known as kosher salt or pickling salt, which doesn't have any iodine or other additives. And then finally some type of bucket and a plate which just barely fits into the bucket. We're going to start by cutting out the stalk of the cabbage. The stalk is the section where it was growing in the ground. So the cabbage grew like this, and somebody came along right above the dirt level and sliced off the stalk, and we're not going to eat that part just because it's really tough and fibrous. You can use an automatic chopper. However you like to chop it is fine. We're going to get 1 more pound. And that makes 3 pounds total. The recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of salt for every pound of cabbage. So right now we need to add 3 teaspoons of salt to the bucket. Pounding takes a while. We really want to break up the cabbage, get it nice and soft. It'll probably take you 10 or 15 minutes to pound a bunch of cabbage. So all we need to do now is just to make sure that all of the cabbage for the next 2 weeks stays under the water, because any cabbage that's sitting up dry in the air can wilt or rot or have mold growing on it. So all we're going to do is we're just going to take a plate slightly smaller than the bucket. Anything that's a weight, it could be a brick. I happen to like using something that one uses to cook food so that we don't get little bits of brick fragment in our sauerkraut. As we taste it over the next 2 weeks, it will turn from salty cabbage into sour salty cabbage, also known as sauerkraut.